Billy the Kid became more than an outlaw. He became an idea wired into metal. In a brief, violent arc through New Mexico, he moved with pistols, carbines, and a shotgun that together wrote the story people still read today. We'll follow 4 weapons closely tied to his life. Stay to see which gun sold for over $6 million. Next, Regulators. Billy's world was local, small, and violent. The Regulators, Doc Scurlock, Charlie Bowdre, Tom O'Folliard, operated as a guerrilla band where carbines, lever guns, and concealable pistols weren't fashion. They were survival. Lincoln County's makeshift jail, the courthouse armory, and personal grudges made weapons omnipresent. Many reports list types, not serials. That's why we separate documented items from attributed ones. Next, Colt 1877 Thunderer. First gun. The Colt 1877 Thunderer, Billy's favorite gun, is a compact double-action revolver built for concealment and quick follow-ups. Chambered typically in 41 and sometimes 38 for other variants, it carried a 5-shot cylinder and commonly came with 2.5 to 4.75-inch barrels, small enough for a coat pocket, fast enough when a second mattered. Gamblers, lawmen, and ranch hands favored the Thunderer for its speed in tight quarters, a saloon confrontation, or a surprise ambush where a second shot could mean survival. A man who carries a Thunderer prizes the ability to answer a sudden threat without fuss. It's the choice of someone who expects trouble on the streets, not a man who plans long duels. That quick trigger reveals impatience and practicality, the hand that prefers immediacy over ceremony. Next, Colt Single Action Army. Garrett attribution and sale contested. Next, the Colt Single Action Army, the archetypal peacemaker. Most examples are shown in 45 Colt with a 6-shot cylinder. Single action operation forces a deliberate cadence. Cock the hammer, aim, fire. That deliberateness is part of its persona. A Colt long attributed to Pat Garrett made headlines when it sold at Bonham's Los Angeles on August 27, 2021 for $6,030,313, a record-grabbing price that shows how powerful provenance can be in the market. The auction catalog traced the Colt through a claimed chain of custody beginning with Garrett's estate and moving through private collectors. That documentation formed the basis for the attribution and the record-setting bid. But note the difference, auction attribution is not museum accession. If Garrett indeed carried a Colt like this, the gun's deliberate single-action habit mirrors the lawman's posture. Measured, final, prepared to accept the single shot's consequence. Next, Sharps and single-shot carbines, range tool. Third, Sharps carbines and single-shot breech loaders, the long-reach weapons of the era. A Sharps and period loads, roughly 50 class, gave a marksman consistency and range beyond pistols and lever guns. 24 to 30-inch barrels were common, and the breech system sped reloading compared with muzzle loaders. During the Lincoln County War, a Sharps in the hands of a skilled marksman could pin down opponents from cover, or eliminate a target at ranges where pistols were useless, a decisive advantage in open country skirmishes. Choosing a Sharps is choosing patience and precision. You accept the time to set, aim, and deliver a shot that matters. For guerrilla fighters and skilled marksmen, it's the tool of choice when a single, accurate bullet can decide a fight. Next, Henry/early Winchester repeaters rate of fire. Fourth, Henry and early Winchester repeaters, the game changers. Typical chamberings around the 44 class, tubular magazines holding multiple rounds, and fast lever cycling meant a rider could pour sustained fire while mounted. Capacity varied with barrel length and cartridge size. Practical loads commonly yielded half dozens up to low teens of shots. The Winchester's lever action allowed a rider to cycle rounds quickly without dismounting or shifting grip, a critical advantage when speed and mobility decided survival. A man with a repeater isn't betting on a single clean shot. He's embracing volume and momentum. In the chaos of raids and courthouse scuffles, a repeating rifle supplies ruthless practicality, overwhelming force in a compact package. Next, Escape, the action anchor. The Escape on April 28, 1881 moves with brittle speed. With Garrett away, Billy asked to use the outhouse, slipped ahead, broke into the armory and grabbed a pistol. He shot Deputy James Bell, then returned and shot Bob Ollinger from the second floor. Some accounts suggest Billy called down to Ollinger from the second floor window before firing, a moment of cold calculation. The shotgun's 2 barrels delivered the kind of close-range devastation that left no ambiguity. Ollinger had earlier loaded a heavy shotgun that morning, the same shotgun the probate and later catalogs associate with the event. Billy smashed that shotgun across the balcony rail, seized a Winchester and revolvers, vaulted to a horse, and rode out. Next, Whitney double-barrel hammer shotgun. The most tightly tied artifact is the Whitney double-barrel hammer shotgun, serial number 903, a 10-gauge, external hammer side-by-side with 25.25 inches round Damascus barrels, and a checkered walnut stock. It fires 2 formidable shots, 1 per barrel. And Bonham's Lot 9 reproduces probate excerpts and notarized statements tracing the gun from Ollinger to later custodians. Bonham's Lot 9 traces the shotgun from Deputy Bob Ollinger through Pat Garrett's recovery, then to Joseph C. Lee, a prominent Lincoln County figure, and later through descendant owners including the Earl collection. The gun was exhibited at the New Mexico Military Institute from 1898 to 1925, and later appeared in Texas Ranger Hall of Fame displays, a documented public history that strengthens its provenance. Bonham's records the shotgun's condition, traces of the Damascus twist pattern, an action cracked near the triggers, large fore-end chips, worn checkering, and a copper wire repair at the wrist. That lot sold at Bonham's Los Angeles in August 2021 for $978,312.50, including premium, and the catalog is the primary published provenance source for this object. The shotgun's raw 2-shot immediacy fits the moment. A brutal, up-close answer to a guard at the stairwell. It's a weapon meant to stop someone in place rather than to hunt from afar. Next, Posse and Associates. Billy's circle mattered. Doc Scurlock, a former dentist turned fighter who brought medical skill and a steady hand to the regulators. Charlie Bowdre, a loyal companion who rode with Billy through raids and skirmishes and died at Stinking Springs. Tom O'Folliard, a young gunslinger whose death in a Garrett ambush deepened Billy's resolve. They shared guns the way families share tools, a Winchester passed to a rider, a pistol loaned in a fight. That communal circulation explains why so many reports list weapon types rather than serials. Ownership was practical, not always personal. Next, Aftermath, Auction and Provenance, Garrett death plus sale. On July 14, 1881, in Fort Sumner, Pat Garrett shot and killed Billy the Kid, a fact recorded in contemporary accounts and in the historical record. Garrett entered Pete Maxwell's darkened bedroom where Billy had come looking for food. According to widely repeated accounts, Billy asked Key and S, "Who is it?" and Garrett fired twice, killing him. Decades later, the objects connected to that life moved to auction rooms and exhibitions, reshaping the story into market headlines. A Colt single-action Army revolver attributed to Pat Garrett sold at Bonham's Los Angeles on August 27, 2021 for $6,030,313, a headline-making price that demonstrates how much modern collectors prize these relics. The auction catalog traced the Colt through a claimed chain of custody beginning with Garrett's estate and moving through private collectors. That documentation formed the basis for the attribution and the record-setting bid. Next, the objects tied to Billy the Kid do 2 jobs. They fix moments in time and they invite stories. The Whitney shotgun sits in probate and catalog pages that anchor the Lincoln County escape and documentary record, while the Colt attributed to Pat Garrett, which later sold at auction for $6,030,313, shows how modern markets can amplify a claim into a headline. These guns mark the places where decisions were made and lives were changed. We've shown what the records tell us. Judge the rest for yourself. Subscribe and hit that notification bell for more.